Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President, Executive Director of Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We're coming to you live from the Washington Auto Show in Washington, D.C. of the United States. Thank you for being with us. We're in the nexus of all the new technologies. It's just amazing how the number of cars that are here are actually in the green sphere, as more and more of the manufacturers around the globe are creating more fuel-efficient, safer, softer, more convenient, and just excellent automobiles. And sitting right beside me is John O'Donnell. He is the President, CEO of WANADA, the Washington Area New Automobile Dealers Association, and also the producer of the Washington Auto Show. John, welcome to the Emerald Planet.
Thank you very much, Sam. And I'd also like to thank you for having your program right here at the Washington Auto Show.
Well, this is really very exciting, and as you can tell, this is high energy. It's just people are excited about what they're seeing. And looking at all the different models, you had the sneak peek, so we had a chance to see everything that's just coming out and what is going to be in the future. What is the Washington Auto Show?
It's the best job in the whole world, Sam, and we both get paid for being here, which is incredible. This year's Washington Auto Show is doing a little bit more of what we've done in the past, and by that I mean we showcase and display advanced technology and safety innovations, not only for Congress, but as you can see, the general public. And our public here in Washington, D.C. is fortunate that they get the treatment of the United States of the President. Not everybody gets to see this, and you can right here. Fuel cell technology, autonomous cars, semi-autonomous cars, all-electric cars, hybrids, also telematics. Right now, you have a situation where over the next decade or so, you're going to see software companies collaborating with automobile manufacturers to bring forth the next wave of technology that'll be used all around the globe.
Well, it used to be the advanced technology superhighway. It was exclusive, 70,000 square feet, dozens of cars, very advanced technology. But now if you look throughout the entire auto show, I mean, you've got these advanced automobiles everywhere. And I shouldn't say just automobiles, but the trucks and the SUVs. So looking at that, you really were a forerunner as far as the advanced technologies on the superhighway. How do you think you've been able to push this envelope for new technologies that everybody can enjoy?
Well, my predecessor had a vision, and I'm simply carrying it out. We stumbled into this, to be honest. We, at one point, about 5 or 6 years ago, assembled the largest number of green vehicles at any place on U.S. soil. When that was brought to our attention, we had the imagination and forethought to create the Advanced Technology Superhighway, which is the area that you just referenced. We expanded that, and then eventually the manufacturer said, I'd really like to have some of this technology not only in that area, but in our space as well. So now you can go anywhere on the floor of this auto show and see all of the different manufacturers displaying their latest, their greatest, their most exciting innovations, prototypes, concept cars, what will be coming out in the future, or maybe not, depending on which way alternative energy goes.
Well, I'm going to say that Emerald Planet, because the guy you're referring to, I think, is Gerry Murphy, who is the President-Emeritus that served before you. And we kept pushing him to say, we need to have more advanced cars at the auto show. And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. And he said, well, why not? Let's do it. And so anyway, we kept pushing the noodle on that. But looking at the Made Across America, the theme that you have, tell us a little bit about that. It's a great theme. Again, it's the high energy. It's a new technology. Where did this come from? And how is, again, that's pushing the envelope?
Absolutely. Great question, and it was a wonderful program. What happened was when the economy turned down in 2007 and 2008, and General Motors and Chrysler unfortunately needed to go into bankruptcy, We wanted to make a statement. At that point in time, I think it was about 10.5 million cars per year were sold in the U.S. We're now back to over 17 million. I believe it's 17.2 million. And we wanted to make a statement. We assembled 70 cars right in front of the Capitol from, I think, 25 different manufacturers with the tagline of Made Across America. And the underlying theme there was jobs, economies, and communities. When you think about the contribution that the automobile industry makes to the global economy as well as the U.S. economy, we felt that it was time to make a statement and let the world know that the U.S. manufacturing space is back, and it's back with a vengeance. It's never been larger. We haven't seen this sort of number before, and we're optimistic about the next 24 months. Again, I think with the emergence of telematics, as well as CAFE standards going up, right? 54 miles by 2025, and we're marching towards that. I think we're going to achieve it, and we want to let the world know that.
Well, you anticipated my next question. This is about the CAFE standards, so thank you for doing that. No, that's fantastic because it leads right into the individual dealers. People, you know, they're around us everywhere, ubiquitous, and at the same time, they're within the fabric of each community within the United States and all over the globe. So how do the individual dealers participate and become part of the Washington Auto Show?
Great question. As our show has grown in size, in stature, with all of the different technologies coming, our local dealers have really clamored to be more of a part of it. Now, this is a manufacturer's show, but we have a steering committee that guides what we do here at the show. So they're truly the people that are deciding what we do with the show and how we showcase it for Congress and as well as the public.
Now, you're talking about the Congress, which is the policy show, and that has its own track. And then you have the general public involved in this. What is the real difference between those two? And then where do they intersect so that the public actually can have impact on the Congress? And the Congress can share and learn about what the public really wants as far as the vehicles for the American public.
It's almost as though the Washington Auto Show has two separate and distinct shows. For 2 days before it's open to the general public, we have what we call Public Policy Day, or days. And what we do is we bring in members of Mr. Obama's cabinet. We bring in senators, congressmen, the heads of various agencies, and their staffers, the people that really know what's happening and make it all work. And the manufacturers will come and they will display their latest and greatest and discuss the various technologies and what they think the Department of Energy needs to be doing, or the EPA, or the National Highway Safety Transportation Administration. And we'll actually have members of those agencies come and have a face-to-face discussion. For example, today, we had a member of Mr. Obama's cabinet here for 3.5 hours. You can't get that kind of access anywhere else in the world. And he was really enjoying himself, by the way. So that's the industry side of our show. On the public side of our show, we're like any other auto show around the globe with one big distinction. You have the most educated population in the United States right here in Washington, D.C. There's more doctors like yourself here than anywhere else in our country. We also have 7 of the 10 wealthiest counties in our country, right in and around Washington, D.C. So that's a great formula for selling cars, as well as advanced technology cars. So the adoption rate of the alternative energies is very high here in Washington, D.C. People are green here, and I don't think that's going to change.
Well, if anything, it's going to be enhanced and continue to expand. And you're looking at the pickups, the SUVs are becoming much more fuel efficient. And so you have this mix. So looking back to that CAFE standard, the 54 miles per gallon, and how the manufacturer is going to meet that, what do you see, John, as far as the mix for the automobiles, SUVs, and the pickups, even though the cost of the petrol is going down, gasoline and diesel? At the same time, we know that goes up and down. What do we see as far as that general trend as we move towards 2050?
I I think you already answered your own question, but I'll expand on it. When the price of oil goes down, what we see is the same number of units being sold, the same number of cars and other vehicles being sold, but the mix changes. When oil goes down, people tend to buy big gas-guzzling cars because they can afford it. When the price of oil goes up, they want to get out of that big SUV and find something that perhaps is alternative energy, or at the very least, a high-performance petroleum product, something that's getting 30, 40, 50 miles per gallon. So something that's a small sedan, lightweight type vehicle.
But even looking at the SUVs and the pickups, they're much more energy efficient. They're using the composites, the aluminum frames. I mean, the technologies in these things are incredible. It's almost like you have a spaceship. It's here, operating on the ground and, around the neighborhoods. So looking at those larger vehicles, what are you seeing as the trend to make them, again, more energy efficient?
This year, we had the Green Car Awards again here at the Washington Auto Show, and the Ford F-150 won its category. And the reason for it is they're using military-grade aluminum in their chassis. What does that do? It takes out more than 700 pounds from the vehicle. It is incredible. And the safety aspect is the same or better than what we were using before. So if you can remove the weight, you're able to get those few extra miles per gallon. And I think that's going to be a slow, steady march. And one of the cabinet members was betting that we will get there.
Well, we're just running out of time. So what do you see for the future of the Washington Auto Show, WANADA itself, over the next 5, 10, 15 years? And we have about 30 seconds to do all that, John.
That's not enough time. What we do is we work with the manufacturers and we decide what is a concept, what is a prototype, and what can we actually show the public and Congress that is achievable within that time frame. I personally believe that you're going to see more and more of the software companies working with the auto manufacturers to bring a convergence of technology to the forefront. And I think that's going to reinvigorate America's love affair with cars.
And also the technology. Anyway, thank you. John O'Donnell is the president, CEO of WANADA, and also the producer of the Washington Auto Show. Thank you very much for being with us, dear viewer, as we come live from the floor of the Washington Auto Show, as we're looking around the globe for all those advanced technologies and how we're going to serve the public and yet save the planet as we create the Emerald Planet.
Art, a universal language, an expression of culture, of self. And now, thanks to Empowered Women International, a way for emerging and established immigrant and refugee artists and artisans to find hope to earn a living while enriching the lives of all of us. Empowered Women International, making a better America every day. For more information on Empowered Women International's educational programs or to make a tax-free donation, contact cfripp@aol.com.
You'd think it would be easy to tell which kids have trouble with their eyesight. But that's not always the case. Even though 1 in 4 children may have a vision problem, eye doctors tell us the symptoms aren't always so obvious. We do know that 80% of all childhood learning is visual. And without good vision, kids can have trouble learning to read and may fall behind in school. For clues on how to spot the real-life signs of childhood vision problems and what parents can do, visit checkyearly.com. A public service message from the Vision Council of America, and reading is fundamental.
we're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello, welcome to Emerald Planet as we come to you from the Washington Auto Show in Washington, D.C. of the United States. As we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for the most advanced technologies and what is going to be leading as far as the transportation modalities as we move towards 2050. I have a dynamic young man sitting right beside me. This is Kevin P. Reilly. He is the chairman and director of the Washington Auto Show, and also he's the president of Alexandria Hyundai. And Kevin has invited us a number of years to be a part of this. And Kevin, thank you for being part of the Emerald Planet.
Oh, Sam, it wouldn't be an auto show without you. So welcome to the 2015 show. Isn't it great?
It's absolutely wonderful, and thank you for allowing us to be here. Tell us a little bit from your perspective as the director, what is the Washington Auto Show?
Well, the Washington Auto Show is the intersection of government and industry. So we're unlike any other auto show in the world. Not only are we a large auto show, one of the 5 largest in the U.S., but we really bring together the policymakers and the OEMs together in a way to have a platform for communication. And we're looking to do 2 things, create great vehicles and good policy.
Well, looking at this, I know there's a constant evolution as far as the technologies, the comfort, the safety, the telecommunication packages, and all that. So how is the show continuing to evolve from your perspective, not only as the chairman of the show, but also as owning your own dealership?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting time in our industry. Last year, 16.4 million vehicles sold in the U.S., new vehicles, that is, our best year since 2006. So as we look at that and the money that these manufacturers are making and the investments in technology that we're seeing, we're starting to see that to come to fruition in some really neat vehicles here at the show. Hydrogen fuel cell technology and a lot of safety advancements, blind spot detection. You'll have lane keep assist, automatic braking systems, a lot of things that you might see in an autonomous car in the future are already in cars today.
Now, looking at the fuel mix, as far as the hydrogen is concerned, clean diesel, just a couple of years ago, people in the United States, not in Europe and other places, of course, were saying that we're not going to see this for 10, 15, 20, if ever. And it's already here. I mean, there are vehicles in this show that people actually could buy and take home with them. So how do you see the evolution, the pace of the evolution as far as the technology?
Well, it just continues to increase at a very rapid pace. And I think what's most interesting is a lot of people were predicting a single winner. Maybe it's battery electric. But to your point, and you just stated it a moment ago, you have battery electric vehicles, clean diesel, natural gas, and then hydrogen fuel cell technology. So I think all those platforms and fueling sources are going to be an important part of what we drive in the future.
Kevin, looking at the show, what's the intersect between the show? Because you have your own business. I've been over there, visited with you. You're extremely busy. People pulling you from all directions, and yet you're chairman of the show. That's like having a second, maybe even a third full-time job. So what is the intersect? Why do you do it? And how do you feel that has an impact as far as your own dealership and the dealerships of all the other owners in this area?
Well, let me answer your question as to why I do it. I love the show, and I think the auto shows are a great way for both people from the industry and then also consumers to see what the latest and greatest is, whether it be entertainment or education. But I first started working the show 27 years ago in 1987, and when I think about the technology that was in cars then, and then how we've just transformed the technology that we have in vehicles from a life-saving perspective and also from an environment-saving perspective, I'm very proud of our industry.
Now, looking at the change you've seen, you have your own dealership. We're not here to sell product, but you do have the Hyundai dealership. And some of the people that produce our program love the Hyundais, so as you know. How do you see that the changes as far as the dealership itself is concerned, and not only just from what people are seeing and driving home, but when they show back up the aftermarket service and all that, how is all that evolving at the same pace?
Well, first of all, we love that you love Hyundai, so thank you very much for that. But most importantly, it's the product knowledge, both on the sales and the service side. Vehicles are a lot more complex today than they've ever been. So what we do is when you come in to purchase a vehicle, we want to make sure you know all the choices and the varieties of technologies in those vehicles. And when you purchase it, then we really focus in to make sure you understand those technologies and utilize those technologies on the road.
Now, looking at the technicians that have come in, many years ago, I was involved with training as far as CCC, Computer Command Control, and of course, this huge evolution in all these different areas, the plug and play that you have as far as being able to maintain the vehicles and all that. So looking at the technicians and the infrastructure that you need as an owner of your own dealership, how has that evolved, and how are you actually keeping pace with all the technological change?
Well, yeah, technology is moving fast. And so a couple points I want to make on that. First of all, if viewers are out there and certain people are considering automotive technician as a career, it's a fantastic career because with all the complex technology that's in a vehicle, we really rely on those highly skilled individuals to make sure that they're repairing your car in a way that you're safe. And from a dealership perspective, we have to spend a lot of money on a lot of high-tech equipment to make sure we enable them to do their job well.
Yeah, many people talk about the automotive industry as the old industry, but yet it's some of the most advanced technology on the planet, particularly even in the manufacturing of that. But some of the new jobs in this area really is the maintenance of these vehicles. I know the Rotary International and the Rotary Club of Washington, D.C., working with your President-Emeritus, Gerry Murphy, set up this program. How are you actually encouraging people that are not even in the industry yet, but yet learn while they're in high school and the junior colleges, then come into the industry?
Well, we do it in a number of ways. I mean, right here at the show, for example, we had the mayor of Washington, D.C., and Mayor Bowser was down here and speaking to a group of students in automotive technology and encouraging them to, pursue that dream and pursue, work hard, study, and then we do it through apprenticeship. So WANADA actually has an apprenticeship program. Those technicians can come in, work with a highly skilled technician, and work their way up the chain from a C-Tech to a B-Tech to an A-Tech.
So this is something, it's a German model. They've been doing it forever. People know about the success of German industry. And as far as training, the next evolution as far as the technicians are going to be concerned, do you feel that this is now becoming a part of the industry as far as the next generations that we're now letting them follow the ones that really have both the wisdom and the knowledge to carry the industry forward?
Yeah, certainly. And I think what we do here at the show, too, and the point that I made at the show is whether it's at the dealership level or at the manufacturer level, you can look at these cars, and I want young people to see opportunity, whether it's in design, whether it's in engineering, whether it's in retail sales, whatever it is, there's a lot of jobs to be had in the auto industry. In fact, we drive the economy, millions of good-paying jobs, billions in tax revenues, and we enhance communities throughout the nation.
That was really the perfect answer because that really segues. How do you convince the parents to allow their child, instead of saying, okay, you have to go off to university, that's the way you're going to make it in the world? And as we know, that many in these, the high-paying jobs really in the technical side of all this, and they're very advanced technical and a lot of IT. So how do we convince or we educate the parents, allow their students, male or female, to go into this industry?
Well, like anything, it's good communication, and that's where WANADA comes in. They're excellent communicators in terms of the vast opportunities, be it sales, service, parts, what have you, in terms of, a career, and they'll actually lay out that career path. So, we give those young individuals the word tracks to when they talk to their parents, and we're more than happy to talk to their parents about the great opportunities. I started in the business washing cars, selling cars, and, here I am. I'm running one of the best auto shows in the world. I'm very thankful for that.
Well, and I want to throw this in. I think I have my facts straight that you're also an attorney and have an MBA. So it's not bad that you're running your own dealership. You have all that academic background. So when you look at that preparation, those times you're out there washing the cars and fueling and making sure that Miss Smith down the street was going to be very satisfied with her car, how did you parlay that into an MBA, a law degree, and all these other things from a very fine university, University of Virginia, I believe?
No, absolutely. So I have a lot of different basketball teams I can root for between UVA, Duke, and Georgetown. But seriously, one of the things I learned when I was 13 years old, washing Lincoln Town cars at that time, was how important it is just to listen to the customer. And that principle has not changed in 27 years. Technology may have changed, but it's the same thing to truly listen to somebody, understand their needs, and how do we match those needs with a particular product we have from a sales perspective. And we do the same thing on the service perspective as well. So listening is very important. We'll always do that.
Now, looking at the the collaboration with the community. I know that you're reaching, it's just like Rotary is underwriting, the education as far as these apprenticeship, buying the tools and those kinds of things. How could the community become more involved so that where there's a greater connection between the community, the dealerships, the manufacturers, WANADA, and the auto show itself, so that everybody feels like in this collective that we're really advancing technology, but we're advancing society and the environment at the same time?
Well, let me tell you what we did on Wednesday. Wednesday, we had something called Made Across America, and OEMs from across the nation drove their American-built individual, built by fine Americans, to Washington, D.C. We had over 40 vehicles on there, and we spoke on the Hill about the impact that we have on, enhancing communities, creating billions in tax revenue, and generating millions of good-paying jobs. And those communities, those individuals, hardworking individuals working in Alabama, working in Michigan, they communicate, to their friends and relatives, how they enjoy their jobs and what a great future they have. And I think that's where we really do it at the grassroots level.
And many times I think there's a misconception too, Kevin, you're addressing that, is that all these international names that we have, many of those or most of those are now actually made within the United States itself, definitely within NAFTA, which is Canada, United States, and Mexico. What do you see about, again, the expansion of that as we go towards 2050?
Well, as we go towards 2050, I think you're going to see some more plants in the U.S. in that regard because it's been highly successful. You have highly skilled workers here in the United States that have shown they can build some of the finest cars in the world, and they do. And so what I'm most proud of when I go down to Montgomery, Alabama, and look at the Hyundai plant there is to hear the stories of, workers there going into a restaurant and they're wearing their, Hyundai wear, and they see that Hyundai logo on their shirt and how proud they are of that and how well they're treated in that community because they understand the impact.
Well, we're running out of time, as we always do when we're together, Kevin, and thank you for sharing all this wonderful information. But we've got about 30 seconds left. What do you see for the growth of the industry, for Alexandria Hyundai, and for the auto show?
So for the industry, we might have a shot of hitting 17 million vehicles this year. I think for the consumer, you're going to see more and more technologies in these vehicles that are going to save lives. And for that, I'm very proud. For Alexandria Hyundai, we're going to sell a whole lot of Hyundais because I have 4 kids, and failure is not an option.
Well, thank you very much. This is Kevin P. Reilly, is the chairman director of the Washington Auto Show, president of Alexandria Hyundai. And thank you for being with us as we're looking at the new technologies, the comfort, the safety, the telecommunications, all the aspects of as we move forward and moving more and more people to a planet of 9 billion souls. And so we need to have the most advanced technology possible. Thank you for being with us.
This is firstgov.gov, where we're obsessed with getting you government information.
Brand new student loan applications on the site, baby. This calls for a celebration. Where's your uncle?
So in the end, it was either take the astronaut gig or come work here. What can I say? Duty called.
Dude, that's my cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's Sam's cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Sam's. No.
Just log on or email us and get what you need.
C, change of address form. That's how it's done.
D, driver's license renewal.
E, emailing Social Security information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice, we'll allow it. All right, Ed.
What are those?
Government surplus cars for auction.
You posted those online last time.
No, you did.
I'm posting them online this time.
For all your government information, firstgov.gov.
Oh, what have we got here? Sometimes you feel tired. You can't seem to lose those extra pounds off your midsection. And your joints hurt when you take the stairs. Well, you're getting older. But I'm happy to say that there's some simple things we can do to keep you happy and healthy for years to come. We can also lower your risk for some serious diseases the older population is often subject to. Proper nutrition is more important than ever. Your body has changed, Not as many treats. A basic exercise plan, lots of walks and fresh air, and most importantly, come and see me for twice-yearly checkups to help ensure the best possible quality of life. Now, how does that sound? Good boy.
Improve the quality of life for your elderly pet. Schedule twice-yearly checkups that include preventive care and regular lab work. A message from the veterinary members of the American Animal Hospital Association.
we're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President and Executive Director of Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a weekly basis, and this time we're coming live from the Washington Auto Show, one of the most exciting and advanced auto shows actually in the whole globe. Sitting right beside me is Gerard, goes by Gerry, in Murphy. He's also a member of our Rotary Club of Washington, D.C. President-Emeritus. How you like that emeritus part, Gerry? You like that? And General Counsel for WANADA, the Washington Area New Automobile Dealers Association. And Gerry, it's always good to be with you as far as the auto show. Thank you for being with us. It's good to be here with you. Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the auto show. And you're the third generation. So what have you seen as the changes over this and the evolution of the auto show?
What's happened principally with it, Sam, is that it's turned into an industry event as opposed to a regional show. And I think all auto shows probably started off regionally, but then auto shows in different parts of the world, like Washington, D.C., were able to elevate themselves up to the industry level, which essentially means that the automakers take a special interest in it. Special interest in insofar as it gives them an opportunity to strut their stuff, to bring the latest and the greatest. In the case of today, the advanced technology, and to show that not only to the public, not only to the people in the market, because the Washington area market is a substantial automobile market with very high-end consumers in it, with lots of money to spend. But the industry piece is what's important, and particularly with this show, where we've made it the public policy show on the global circuit. The automakers recognize us as the public policy show on the industry global circuit, and that's the biggest change.
Now, looking at this, and you're being very modest because this is third generation, but it was really under your leadership as the President Emeritus of this esteemed organization, to have the policy show, also the high technology superhighway. There have been many innovations that you brought in, based on the legacy of your family over the years. So how does that really affect, one, the show itself, but how is the general acceptance of all this by the public as you're continually evolving in a new and exciting direction?
The public is very interested and warm, or if not hot, for the technology. I mean, the cars of today, of the 21st century, I'm dating myself, but it's like the Jetsons, the show where they were flying around in cars. Today's cars are amazing with all the onboard, high technology that they have. They do everything, including give you a back rub in some instances, depending on whether you get that feature. It's a nice feature, by the way, if anybody's interested in that. I've got it. But it's the public is very enthused about that. Witness the fact that this year, this 2015, we are apt to have a record sales year in new motor vehicles. 17 million cars in the U.S. That takes us back to 2001, the last time we had 17 million. And it's almost like the stock market. We're just going up and up and up.
But the whole thing is, it's a gradual. Of course, we had the dip as far as the economy was concerned several years ago, but it really has been really almost a steady incline as far as the technological advancements going on, the energy efficiency, this new CAFE standards of 54 miles per gallon across the industry. All these things are driving it, but at the same time, you had to have a steady hand at the tiller, if you will, in order to guide WANADA as you go along. How do you balance that as far as the administration with WANADA, with the dealers and the industry, so that things are going on a very progressive standard?
Well, it's definitely a balancing act, and the association management aspect of Washington Area New Auto Dealers that produces the show it's a business, and we've got a lot of different aspects to that. I mean, the auto show, Washington Auto Show, is clearly, an important component of that, but you've really got to keep your eyes on the prize, to quote Dr. King. With things like taking your auto show to the next level, to make it an industry event, to hone the government relations of the association, and we're involved. Being here in Washington on Capitol Hill with NADA, we're involved in the state capitals in Richmond and Annapolis and everything in between with the counties. To hone that so that you have the relationships to be able to parlay your vision. We wanted to make this show an industry event, and what do we have? We got Washington. Nobody else has Washington. Washington is the de facto partner of the auto industry, around the world. The Congress of the United States. We've got Congress right down the street here. Nobody else has that. So we leveraged that, we capitalized on that, and we're now the public policy show.
It's really exciting, Gerry, and we thank you for doing all that. And many years now that I've known you, it's always exciting to hear what is actually coming next, some of the things you surprise us with, and it's always new and exciting and very important. What are some of the challenges as we go towards 2050? We're going to have a planet with 9 billion people. We had a little over 7 billion now, and we're going to have to move those people somehow. How do you see the industry, but also something like the Washington Auto Show, fitting into that so that it's always the latest, the best, and the greatest that are going to be available to citizens not only here, but also across the globe?
I think auto shows are going to continue to be what they always have been, and that is a regional event, in your city. In our case, Washington, where people are going to be enthusiastic about coming down to see what's the latest and greatest, because people in the United States are going to continue to buy cars, and the America's love affair with a car is not going to go anywhere. Yeah, it's a challenging world out there, and you'll have ups and downs, highs and lows. The economy will go this way, and the economy will go that way, and it'll have helpful impacts on the industry, and it'll have negative impacts. But the auto industry or cars are not like groceries where everybody's going to have to eat, but people are, in this country are not going to give up their cars.
Looking at the auto show itself, this really is an intersection of the industry as far as the public is concerned, the policymakers, elected officials. How do you think this can be further leveraged as we go towards 2050 so that the people really are in a collaborative, it's not competing interest and one, trying to force its will on the other, but people literally collaborating together so we have the very best transportation modality. We're protecting the environment, and at the same time, we're reducing our dependence on fossil fuels.
It's a balancing act because the automakers will submit to demand. It's supply and demand. They'll submit to demand and what's popular with the public. In America, it's bigness. Cars are big. You go to a steak restaurant, and you get you feel like you're Fred Flintstone having a Bronto burger. I mean, they bring you so much food. So I mean, it's ultimately going to sort itself out because the automakers have been tasked with making the cars even more fuel efficient, and they're headed in that direction. And they're going to do that with alternative fuels. We were here at the press days last week, and they were talking about things like hydrogen. Toyota's really done quite a job with that, and they're going to continue to push that. The hybrid technology is going to continue to be, something that's important. And the infrastructure is going to come along, where it'd be like, going down Route 95. When you go to the gas station, you can get, a shot of hydrogen for your car and yourself, if you like.
Going back to this third generation, your grandfather, your dad, and yourself has been involved with this, and you're continuing on, even though you're now the emeritus as far as the president of the organization, your general counsel. How do you think that legacy has really helped you as far as keeping the steady pace? I mean, there's been ups and downs over the years that you've been were president of this organization, but yet you always felt that enthusiasm, you felt that confidence that we're moving forward in a very positive manner. How do you see that continuing, but how did that kind of enthuse yourself to be able to keep that steady hand?
Well, I got that from my father. My grandfather was in the association before I was, and I learned about association management from Dad, and it's a balancing act. It's a little like being a congressman insofar as you're hail fellow, well met, and you're somebody for everybody. But at the end of the day, you got to keep your eye on the ball, and you've got to be able to understand how to run the association, how to do the things that need to be done for your industry, in our case, the auto industry. And, that's something you'll learn. It's not innate.
Well, you've been at this enough years. Again, you were raised in the industry, in essence, and raised in the association itself. WANADA, how do you see how this is going to move forward? What do you predict, say, over the next 5-10 years? And we got to be quick.
It's over the next 5-10 years. It's going to be a very lucrative time for car sales, and the association's going to be right in the center of that.
And what do you see for yourself over the next 5-10 years as far as you continue your leadership role, whatever that may be?
Well, I'm going to continue to work with John O'Donnell, my successor, for a time, and then use the skills and talents that God gave me to try to continue to make the world a better place.
Fantastic. This is Gerry Murphy, who is the President-Emeritus and General Counsel of WANADA. Thank you for being with us as we're looking around the globe. A movie, 2 billion years old in the next number of years.
I helped turn my child's public school into a whole new kind of school. One with a curriculum that really motivates kids. One that has extended hours, 6 days a week, year-round. With loads of academic, cultural, and recreational activities. One that has support services like medical and dental right there. A school where parents' involvement is encouraged. Where teachers have more time to teach. And students are excited about learning. There's just one problem. My child doesn't ever want to come home. You can help turn your school into a community school for excellence. Find out how. Call 1-877-LOVE-TO-LEARN.
It's coming. Right to your neighborhood. And when it does, you may be surprised. It's your Social Security statement of your benefits, and it's going to help you plan your financial future. Your benefit statement will tell you how much Social Security you're eligible to receive and when you'll get it. Then you'll know how much you need to save for retirement, because that's coming too. The future is in your hands. Choose to save.
The toxic fumes from this meth lab are seeping into Jamie's sinus cavity. Ammonia vapors invade her throat. Toxic gases fill her lungs. Jamie's body is deteriorating. And she doesn't even know it.
Jamie, dinner.
So, who has a drug problem now? Find out how meth affects you at drugfree.org/.
we're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President and Executive Director of Emerald Planet and the Director and host of Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a weekly basis looking at the best of the best, those best technologies all around the globe as far as moving people as we go to a planet that will have about 9 billion souls by 2050. And sitting right beside me, a very deep thinker, well-educated, dynamic young man that he is, Warren Brown is the automotive columnist for the Washington Post. And Warren, welcome to the Emerald Planet.
Good to be here, Dr. Sam. Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about the Washington Post. I mean, it's very interesting to have an automotive columnist, and that's a very sophisticated paper. That means what you do is quite important. And tell us about that intersect between the newspaper and the column.
Well, I've been working at the paper since 1976. I've been doing the automotive beat since 1982. The Post basically is a trend newspaper, and it takes development seriously. So I do more, at least I try to do more than just write about the glitz and the glam of the automobile. I try to figure out where we're going with personal transportation in terms of cars and trucks, and how we're going to get there, and what this is going to cost us in terms of the environment and dollars and cents.
Now, looking at because of the number of years you've been involved, and also you really are a student of the industry, which is, I find, very impressive because I read your columns on a regular basis and have been quite impressed with the depth that you go into as far as the technology is concerned. So looking at that, how do you think being a student of the industry really helps you as far as sharing where we are going and where we've been and where we need to go as far as the automotive industry?
As one of my Josephite and Jesuit philosophy teachers once taught me, it's a matter of looking at things in the whole, okay? And so we try to figure out where we are versus, where we are, where we've been, where we're going. This is where we're going. This little cell phone, smartphone, it is incorporated now into almost everything we see on the floor here at the Washington Auto Show. So more intelligent vehicles, presumably more fuel efficient, and certainly safer vehicles.
Yeah, looking at that, the whole thing is what we have now is really a telecommunications and an IT package that happens to be a people mover. And so looking at all these years that you've been involved as far as the automotive industry, reporting on it, what are some of the most dramatic changes, Warren, have you seen?
Well, it's amazing. I've always looked at vehicles as being communications devices with four wheels. Now that's becoming much more, the case. For example, we're sitting in the GM Buick sector right now. Almost every 2015 GM Buick car has 4G LTE technology in it, Wi-Fi technology. And if you go throughout the car show, there are lots of cars and vehicles with that technology in it. That's one major thing. The other thing is that almost every car, almost every vehicle on display here is operated in some manner by a smartphone. You can raise your windows, you can open the car up, you can close it, so forth and so on. So artificial intelligence, what we call artificial intelligence, is becoming as important to the automobile as, cylinders and everything else. As a matter of fact, among my colleagues, the thinking is that we should really start now covering the CES conference in Las Vegas as much as we cover these car conferences, because the CES conference, at least the people who are exhibiting at those conferences, are driving this industry right now. Panasonic, AT&T, Google, so forth and so on.
So we define our terms. What is CES?
Well, I know that it's the Consumer Electronic. Consumer Electronic, I forget what the S stands for. Show. Okay. Yeah, Consumer Electronics Show, yeah,
and that's very important. I think that was a very astute observation you're making. Looking at the quote-unquote driverless car that's going to be on the horizon. These are vehicles, whether SUVs, trucks, what have you. What do you see? Do you feel like this is the real wave of the future? Is it a shot, for that? And how do you see this advancing, just like the advanced IT within the vehicle?
Well, the driverless car, the so-called autonomous car, isn't going to happen anytime soon. And when it does happen, it's not going to be at all speeds, all roads. You will probably see autonomous cars on heavily regulated roads that are interspersed with transponders and everything else to communicate with the car, to control the car. And that's going to be on designated roads. It's not going to be everywhere. And driverless will probably be no more than 25, 50 miles per hour in terms of the car moving. The whole idea of the autonomous car is to reduce the still tremendous amount of people we kill every year on our roads. We're down to 30,000 now. It had been 50,000 annually. It is now 30,000 annually. But the argument for the autonomous car is, if you had technology that would enable one car to talk to another, or one car to talk to a regulatory infrastructure, you wouldn't have a need for things such as red lights, green lights, and you would probably have better behavior in terms of the vehicle moving. Also, a freer flow of traffic. Yeah.
Yeah, looking at the car of the future and how this really surrounds and helps families. We're going to a planet that's going to add 2 billion more people, which means you just multiply as far as the number of vehicles. What do you see where do you see the industry going as far as how we're going to move 9 billion folks on a planet by 2050 in a way? And this really leverages off of what you were just talking about, Warren, the safety, the comfort, and the convenience for all citizens, regardless of their socioeconomic background.
Well, we're going to have to change how we see the car, how we interact with the car, how it interacts with us. The easy answer, a lot more mass transportation devices, mass transportation, infrastructure. We can't have 9 billion cars. Okay, as much as I love the car, as much as the dealers I love cars, we can't have 9 billion cars. Just getting to the convention center from my home in Arlington, Virginia is a task. Okay, that task would be greatly worsened if everybody in the area had a car. I need mass transportation just in order for me to drive the cars that I love to drive. Because if everybody was driving his or her own car, I wouldn't be moving.
Well, looking at the industry, that's very interesting because, we're here in America's capital, Washington, D.C. They're saying it's roughly about 37% of the people in Washington, D.C. don't own cars. They're using shared. And then also you have another 5% now, which is growing exponentially as far as riding bicycles and other kinds of people conveyances. And then you have the mass transit. How do you see the future automobile industry where you have more people walking, riding bikes, using mass transit, and where does all this fit together?
The industry will be well integrated into that, even probably to the point of shared rides. A major form of personal transportation in the Washington metropolitan area is car-to-go, which is a bunch of small, smart cars from Mercedes-Benz that people rent out, lease out, just almost in the same way that they do borrow bicycles. We're going to see more of that, simply because we can't have 9 billion cars. Okay.
Looking at that, the attitude of the new generations, and you're studying, again, being the student of the industry, many of them don't want cars. And they're saying, like the car to go, like using Uber, like, all these other electronic means, and they want to ride, but they don't want to have to own it. How do you see the next generation interacting with the car versus what you have with the baby boomers and those 30 to 50 years old and how that's going to impact the industry over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years?
Well, I'm a devotee of empirical observation. And one of the things I've been observing over the years, just basically looking out of my front window, are the number of kids from Williamsburg Middle School and Yorktown High School who actually stop and touch and look at what's in my driveway. 10, 15 years ago, I used to have to beat them off my cars in my driveway. Now it's all this. You see them going by doing this, constantly doing this. It's a different mindset. It's not that they don't want cars, just that they don't really think in terms of cars. Their communication is almost nonstop. As a matter of fact, I wish sometimes that you could just kind of like grab one of them and strangle them and say, hey, stop it. Because when my wife, Marion, and I, when we go to a restaurant, we like to kind of like sit down. We're old-fashioned. We sit down and have a meal with one another. But we look around us at families at the table, and kids are doing this at the table. And it's maddening, but that's basically where they are.
Well, we only have about 30 seconds left, so we have to be quick. But looking at, again, you've written a book. You still writing the column for the Washington Post. Yes. What do you see over the next 5, 10, 15 years as far as where the industry is going and what do we need to be thinking about automobiles?
More electronic, more controlled by the same technology that controls our smartphones, more integrated with that technology, less dependent on actual ownership of the vehicle, but access. It would be access versus ownership.
So you really see, that's a very interesting observation. It's really access, and this is where they seem to think that the industry is truly going. So this is Warren Brown, automotive columnist, the Washington Post. Also, he's written a new book, The New Mobility, and he's here at Auto Show every year. And check automotive